Well, DAS deployment, as we look at it at Crown, there are a couple different ways of viewing it. We have typical outdoor type deployments that are deployed in right-of-ways, and then we have indoor DAS that we deploy at venues such as stadiums, basketball arenas, universities, things of that nature. Well, for us, again, being with Crown Castle, we're primarily a tower company, so in many cases, or in most cases, what we attempt to do is deploy traditional type towers. However, that's not always feasible, and we get into tough municipalities and/or residential penetration where placing a tower is not feasible, so we move into DAS deployment. And DAS deployment we put in place that are on utility poles and/or poles that we erect ourselves, and those are typically at a lower center line than a tower, so we're in that 25 to 35 foot range, and it could be anywhere from 12 of these throughout a neighborhood up to as high as 350 nodes if we're looking to cover an entire city or larger footprint than just a neighborhood itself. Now with the everybody walking around with a handheld device and the smartphones and basically small computers in their handheld devices, and then the mindset of today's generation to where landline is not necessarily the first choice for a lot of today's generation. They're staying with their wireless devices. Again, penetrating into these residential in the home has become rather critical, and so there are municipalities out there or neighborhoods or developers that are looking to, from the onset, as they develop their communities and put their communities in place, to have something like a DAS solution there so that they can again have that as an attractive enhancement to that community and to that residence. We just had the BCS championship game. Crown does have a system within University of Phoenix Stadium, which is where the Phoenix Cardinals play. So that's a good representation of a large venue where DAS is very applicable, and it's a neutral host solution to where multiple carriers are on that system, and so anybody at that game that's looking to video stream, send pictures, look up anything in the media, whatever it might be, definitely is served well with that system. So if we were to take a typical tower or macro solution, those, again, depending on height and the fact that they have more power out from that location, those can reach miles, if you may, whereas a DAS deployment, a node, typically is in that quarter mile to a half mile range. And so if you're covering a 5 mile, let's just call it straight run on a highway, you're going to more than likely have 10 to 12 nodes for that, because again, we're at that quarter to half mile range. It's just an industry that's growing, will continue to grow, and sky's the limit.